Hey guys, welcome to a new Beat Built by Broser. We're here live at the Mecca, and on today's show we're going to cover the traps, something I've been wanting to do for a while, something that some of you guys have asked for. So what we're going to cover today is 5 trap exercises. I'm going to have Dave do some and me do a couple, and I'm going to go over some form points that you need to watch to better engage the traps than most people do, and also go over different angles so that we make sure that we hit the traps, the upper portion, the mid portion, and the lower portion in the mid back, because it's a bigger muscle than you might think, so we want to hit all portions of the traps. We'll show you how to do that, and then of course we'll finish off with some Ask Merlin play. Okay, so this trap exercise right here is being done on an angled standing calf machine. It can also be done on a regular standing calf machine, and this works the very top of the traps. He's squeezing up as high as he can, up by the ears. As you can see, he's not even gripping really anything except the bottom of the machine, and he's just focusing on lifting up the shoulders as high as he can and getting a full contraction in the upper traps. Now he's going all the way down to the bottom, and he's squeezing all the way up as if he's trying to touch his ears and getting that big contraction at the top, doing a very, very strict movement. And this is a great exercise when you don't want to just do regular barbell shrugs, perhaps. This is great for hitting the upper traps on a calf machine. So this next exercise that we're going to do is again more for the mid to lower traps in the middle of the back. It's a low cable, close grip upright row. And what you're going to see is I'm going to do it with a rope, which helps me to get a close grip that's easier for my wrist to handle, and also gives me a better contraction at the top. So you'll see I'll get a full range of motion from all the way from the bottom. I'll bring my elbows up high, my hands will be low, and I'll be getting a good squeeze at the top and making sure that I'm trying to engage the mid traps more than the shoulders. Give this one a shot. Okay, so this you don't see very much. This is an incline dumbbell shrug. As you can see, the bench is angled about maybe 35 to 40 degrees. He grabs the dumbbells, he's letting his arms hang straight down, and all he's doing is basically retracting the shoulder blades, shrugging in a line straight up. And what we're working here mostly is the fibers in the middle portion of the back, the mid traps. So it gives you that 3D effect in the middle back. Of course, we are working the upper traps as well, because those are squeezing and engaging, but he's focusing his mind and energy, focusing right in the middle of the back. So this is a great exercise for getting more detail in the back and more depth and density in the middle back. Strict movement, but it's a short movement, not much of a stretch at the bottom. It's mostly just a pinch and a squeeze at the top. Give this one a shot in your trap workouts. Okay, another really, really great movement for the traps, especially in the top of the trap, at the lower portion of the top of the trap in the back, and also the mid traps, is shrugs behind the back, especially on the Smith machine. You can do them with the barbell as well. Lee Haney used to love this exercise. He did it many, many years ago. I like doing it better on a Smith machine. I feel like I have better control. So what it is kind of like a hybrid movement in between a shrug and an upright row. So when you see, as I'm doing it, I'm going to be raising the elbows up, kind of like you would in an upright row, but also shrugging the shoulders, kind of get a dual movement. It's a really, really great movement, like I said, for building that mid trap and the lower portion of the trap, so you get more density and thickness in the mid to upper back. Okay, so here we are doing a Smith machine shrug. Of course, most people do these with a barbell. I do like using a Smith machine and machines for shrugs, because when you do shrugs, it's really the straight up and down movement that you want to do. You don't want to roll the shoulders back like you see a lot of people do. And a Smith machine helps you to do that. Helps you to keep that straight up and down, because the bar is obviously on rollers and it keeps it in the fixed position. What you can see is he's keeping his head forward just a little bit. He's not straining his neck. But what this helps him do, rather than keeping his head straight ahead or back, he gets a better range of motion at the top. So he's able to shrug up higher, because it's almost like taking the neck muscles out of the way to give the traps more room to shrug to the top. So you'll get more effective contractions and nice higher and thicker traps doing it this way. As you can see, he's also leaning forward at the waist just a little bit. This way he's getting the entire trap all the way at the top, Full range of motion, squeezing to the top for a second, always under control, no momentum or throwing the weight. This is a great movement for building thickness and size up by the neck and the upper trap. Okay, this is a great isolation movement, a unilateral movement for the traps using a low cable. You can do this with a dumbbell as well, but the great thing about a low cable, as you can see, is he's leaning away, which allows him to get more tension on the trap, as well as a better stretch at the bottom and a better contraction at the top, because the movement is coming in at an angle. And as you can see, he's working right here on the top of the trap, trying to build that height all the way up to the ears. Again, unilateral movements are great because you get a better focus on one side of the body at a time, as well as better nerve force. So he's squeezing to the top, stretching to the bottom, full contraction, hold it for a second. Great movement for the upper traps. Okay.
All right, Biggie. You had any good questions this week?
Yeah, I had a question, which actually is interesting because the question that I got was very similar to an article that I just wrote for muscleandfitness.com. So I'm going to answer the question here because I think it's a great question. But if you want to read even more, you can go over to muscleandfitness.com and check it out. The question was basically, somebody asked me if I could pick like 5 or 6 things that people do wrong, things that are holding back their progress in the gym, holding back their growth. What would I choose? What do I think that people are doing wrong in general, within the whole atmosphere of the things we need to do in terms of rest, training, supplements, all kind of stuff. So it's a good question because a lot of people are doing a lot of things wrong. And sometimes it's very hard to do everything right, even for myself and pro bodybuilders. But the first thing that I'm going to point to, and I think I'm going to point to it first because a lot of people don't think about it so much, is the question of sleep and rest. I think that a lot of people, they may be in the gym pushing hard, and then and they do train hard, and maybe they're eating well, but they just stay up late at night. They go out, they party, whatever. They don't, they play video games, they watch TV, whatever it is, and they get maybe 4 hours of sleep a night, or 5 hours of sleep a night, and they wonder why they're not making progress. And sleep is like an absolutely vital part of the growth equation. There's no doubt about it. It's just as important as the training and the diet and the supplements. You need to be getting 7 to 8 hours a night of sleep. Sleep is the time when our body shuts down pretty much all of our systems, puts everything pretty much on autopilot, and it's the time when we have the energy to build muscle. So it's a time that we recuperate from our workouts, repair takes place, overcompensation takes place, and we build muscle. We do not build muscle in the gym. We build muscle at rest, and especially while it's sleep. So the first point is people don't get enough sleep, and if you're not getting enough sleep, change that now and you'll see more progress. Second thing I want to point to is I think that a lot of people, when it comes to diet, a lot of people undereat. They don't eat enough calories to support growth. Now this could be because they're trying to stay lean, which is one thing. And it's a very difficult task to try to stay very lean and to put on muscle at the same time. It can be done, but just understand it's going to be a much slower process. But I think that another thing that I want to point out is that, and sometimes it's made fun of, and it's the post-training anabolic window. That you really need to get a large amount of calories in from carbohydrates and fast-acting amino acids after a workout within 30 to 45 minutes of finishing. A lot of people ignore this. And they think, oh, it's fine, I'll just eat, in a couple hours or whatever, or maybe they just have a quick, just a protein bar or something. But this is really the time when we are metabolically set up. Our body is set up to absorb most calories, and most of those calories are going to get pushed towards muscle cells and pushed away from fat cells. So it's a golden opportunity to produce growth from your workout. So when you're done training, don't wait. You want to get right into having a fast-acting protein. Whey isolate is probably the best one that you could do because it's the fastest acting, it's high in branched-chain amino acids. But of course, you don't want a high-fat protein at this time. You're better off with something like egg whites, fish, turkey, things that get into the system rather quickly. But I think whey protein isolate is the best. And you also want to get in a very good amount of carbohydrates. This is the one time of day that you really do want to spike insulin. So some fast-acting carbs are great. White bread, white rice, white potato. I kind of shy away from the, having gummy bears and those types of sugars, because I don't think you should have empty calories. I think that the calories you take in should have some nutritional value. So just fast-acting carbs. You could even combine fast-acting and slow-acting, but make this your biggest carb meal of the day. Get it in with your protein at the same time. Use that anabolic window to ignite growth, because this is a tremendous opportunity to do so when the body is basically asking for the calories. So that's the second thing. Third thing I'll point to is form and technique in the gym. I think people are very, very sadly lacking in their form and their technique. People are always throwing their weights around, using body English, using momentum, swinging the weights, moving them, too quickly from point A to point B, just trying to get the set done or move more weight than they need to. And I think that a lot of people, if they paid more attention to their form, they would very, very quickly see that they will get better results from their workouts, because the body does not know what weight is on the bar. It doesn't know how big the dumbbells are, how big the barbells are. It only knows tension, and you will produce maximum tension by using strict form, focused form, where you're feeling the muscle stretch and contract on every single rep. Another thing I'll point to in the gym is rep tempos. This kind of ties in with what I was just talking about, but I want to kind of separate it a little bit. Even if you're using very, very strict form and your body is, you're not using body English, or you're keeping your elbows where they need to be and your torso, all kind of stuff, all those types of things are in place, but you're still moving the weight 1 second up, 1 second down. You're not taking full advantage of a set, because even if you get 10 reps, you're only under tension for about 20 seconds. That is not optimal for building muscle. What's optimal is being under tension for 35 to 45 seconds. And of course, even tension times that are longer can be done sometimes. So you want to at least have some control with each rep, where you're perhaps lifting the weight in 2 seconds, holding a stretch or a midpoint for 1 second, lowering the weight in 2 to 3 seconds, and holding the contraction for a second, that type of thing. That way, each repetition is taking 4 or 5 seconds. So once you're getting 10 reps, you're now in the 40 to 50 second range of tension. So again, pay less attention to the amount of reps that you're doing and more attention to the time under tension that you have during a set. If people did this and they slowed down, they will definitely see more muscle growth. And I'll point out to one more thing, talking about supplements. There are a lot of great supplements on the market. There's a lot of crap on the market. There's a lot of hype on the market, and there's things that are proven. And we've talked about this before, that some of the most basic supplements are still the best. Creatine monohydrate is tremendous for building strength and building muscle. It should be included in everybody's plan, regardless of whether you're enhanced or not. L-leucine stimulates the mTOR pathway, which is a major pathway for muscle growth. You should always take 5 grams of leucine right after a workout. This is the time when your body needs it the most and when you can stimulate mTOR. Branched chain amino acids are great for recovery. They're great as anti-fatigue. They're great for reducing muscle soreness, for keeping hormones in better balance, keeping cortisol low, testosterone higher. This is something that you should be using several times a day, and especially during intra-workout. Obviously, things like omega-3 fatty acids are great for stimulating the metabolism, keeping you lean. They also help with muscle growth. Vitamins and minerals, very important. If our macronutrients are not taken care of, if our micronutrients, I should say, are not taken care of, it doesn't matter what you're taking. If your body is suffering in some way, shape, or form, the immune system will get hurt, other systems will get hurt, and the body's going to repair and worry about other systems before they worry about building muscle. Building muscle is very low on the totem pole of what our body wants to do. Our body's worried about survival. So building muscle is something that we need to force, and we have to make sure that everything is taken care of, that our body's healthy in every which way before our body's going to worry about building muscle. So basically, make sure that you're taking good basic supplements, following good nutritional patterns, doing the proper weight in the gym, time under tension properly, good form, getting your rest. I think these are the major issues that people have to watch when it comes to muscle growth. They need to stop always worrying about the crazy supplements or the crazy routines. Get the basics down pat, and I promise you'll grow more.
Boom.